Well, hello, ADMG 474 people. Let's talk about Chapter 5 as we go through the textbook. Chapter 5 is all about stakeholder analysis and communication planning. The corresponding chapters in the PMI PMBOK would be Chapter 10 and Chapter 13 on project communication management and project stakeholder management. Now, I cannot stress this enough. Your stakeholders will make or break your project. If your stakeholders are not happy with your end result, your project, regardless of whether you met every single requirement, dotted every I, crossed every T, and everything was perfection, it won't matter if your stakeholders are not happy with the results. Your stakeholders will assume your project was a failure. And that is where managing stakeholders, managing their expectations, and making sure that you effectively control and manage your stakeholders is critical to making sure that your project is a success. I especially love this quote from your textbook on page 114. Because I think it really sums it up in such a good way. Humans are social animals that engage with each other in complex ways, especially in artificial environments such as organizations and projects. Inexperienced project managers can become buried in the control of the project plan's technical aspects and miss the strategic components like stakeholder engagement and effective communication. So it's so easy for us to get buried in the project details and we forget the people. We forget the people side. So I can't stress this enough. Stakeholders will make or break your projects, and you really need to pay good, close attention to that in any project that you work through. Stakeholder management is really all about reading your audience and planning accordingly. And again, the stakeholder management plan is one sub-plan of your overall project management plan. Hopefully you learned this in 374, that your project management plan is made up of a number of sub-plans. Stakeholder management is one of them. Project plan includes things like budgets and schedules and your risks and your suppliers and how you're going to manage human resources. Those are just a few of the components that make up the overall project management plan. So steps involved in creating a stakeholder management plan include identifying your stakeholders and then analyzing your stakeholders. And you should always look at how are you going to build relationships. So when we're talking about identifying stakeholders, we're talking about, are they internal or external to the project? Are they affected by the project process, or are they affected by the project result? Okay, interesting ways of looking at stakeholders. See Exhibit 5.3 for a very good look at that part of stakeholder identification. Then we analyze our stakeholders using quantitative and qualitative information, and we prioritize them. Yeah, we do. We prioritize stakeholders. We want to prioritize them based on how much authority or power do they have over our project. What kind of concerns or interests might they have? Are they going to be actively involved? Are they, do they have the ability to affect changes or to impact what we're doing? That's so important, because we don't want to overlook people that have the ability to impact what we're doing. And sometimes that's really oftentimes hard to uncover. When I think of things like that, I think of the people who hold the money, right? Some of the money people, the finance people. Sometimes we overlook them in the stakeholder realm, but they can hold up releasing funds for a project, and that can significantly impact the project. So just one area to think about. Need for immediate influence. Is there a sense of urgency that we need to be concerned with? And then appropriateness of their involvement. Do they have a legitimate claim to be involved in our project and to have some kind of discussion in our project? Are they legitimate stakeholders? All right. Your reading will talk about building relationships and how important it is to gain your mutual trust and respect of your stakeholders. Page 124 will give you a number of awesome relationship building activities. And then I also have a really nice article here from PMI on building stakeholder relationships as well, how to build positive relationships with your project sponsor. And then once you have identified your stakeholders, you need to develop a communications plan. It's another plan in your project management, your overall project management plan. And no, your communication plan is not about when are you going to send out emails to people. Unfortunately, that's often what we think about when we think about communicating is, we think about when we're going to send emails, and that is not at all what we're talking about. Your communication plan identifies who is going to receive what information about the project and its status and when they're going to get it. How are we going to deliver it? I forgot the how on that one, huh? So it talks about the who, what, when, and how. It identifies purpose, structure, methods, and timing of communication. Take a look at Exhibit 510. Excellent example of what we're talking about when we're talking about project communication. And meetings, yes, ugh, who likes to go to meetings of any kind? Well, unfortunately in project management we tend to be all about meetings, and there's some really good information on page 130 through 136 on how to hold good productive meetings, and I encourage you to go through that. Hopefully you're getting some of that information in some of your other classes as well about what it really means to hold a good meeting, a productive meeting, and one where people don't walk away feeling like it has been an entire waste of their time. So that's your focus for the reading this week. Hopefully this will be helpful, and don't hesitate to reach out and ask any questions along the way.